Okay, so the next deck on our list, we're playing this Zoe Lulu support aggro deck. So this deck, as the name suggests, we're looking to take advantage of various support followers, and in the case of Lulu, our support champion. Chain them together in such a way that we create big swingy board states, big attacks, and run our opponents down that way. So this archetype has gotten a few buffs over the last several patches. Lulu's gotten a small buff a little while ago, but in the most recent set, or in the most recent batch of card changes, we saw a small but very significant buff to Young Witch in that she got a second point of toughness, making her that much harder to kill. We also saw a small buff to, well, I would say a fairly decent buff to the Mountain Sojourners in giving them a couple more points of attack, just making them a better sort of on-curve threat. And they are the top end of our curve here because for those who aren't familiar with this card, it hasn't been seen a whole lot of play in the last little while. This kind of chains its support effect across all of your units as long as they're also supporters. So if we can just curve out with a bunch of support units, then throw a Mountain Sojourners on the board, get an attack, and then suddenly our board is massive. And yeah, that's basically the idea of the deck. We're just looking to run our opponents down with our support units. Big, scary, yeah. Anyway. So why the Zoe, some might be asking, instead of the Tarek? Tarek is another support unit and support champion that actually recently saw a buff as well. And just a few games that I've played with him, I found that Tarek, by the time he's coming down, his support effect's not really that relevant, and his level up condition is pretty far out of reach for where this deck wants to be as far as closing games out. It just felt like there was when he was coming down, he just wasn't that impressive. By the time he gets going, we should be ending the game. And so I swapped him out for Zoe just because this deck really wants a 1-drop, because a lot of our support units start at, well, pretty much all of our support units start at 2. So we really want to ensure that we have a 1-drop into 2-drop support so that we can start getting the support triggers going so that by the time Lulu comes down, she's leveled up. And having a 1-drop elusive to support into is great, especially if you give it a permanent buff in the case of like Tyari. If it's Young Witch, then we have 2 elusive threats, so it means our opponent has trouble interacting with them, or at least blocking them. And then Zoe's just a great champion just anyway, right? She generates some card advantage for us. Even if she's coming down in the late game and, you know, we're getting like some of these buffs on her, like from Mentor or Mountain Sojourners, now she's a pretty big elusive threat. And in the rare cases where we can, you know, play her early and then level her up and get that that sort of emblem that she creates on our Nexus, then playing something later like a Sparklefly can like just give us a board state that's impossible for our enemies to contend with. So overall, she's felt good so far. If anything, I felt that the deck might want another 1-drop just to really ensure that we curve out that way with support units, but I'm trying, you know, this build today, and we'll see how it feels, and then we can talk about that a little bit more, potential changes at the end of the set once we see kind of how this one plays out. Plus Zoe and Lulu have great voice lines together. So that's another big upside to pairing both of them in the same deck. Okay, Swain TF. So this deck has lots of removal. So it could be, if they get a bunch of like powder kegs plus like Make It Rains going, that could be trouble for us. Without a 2-drop supporter in sight, I think, and especially because we have the attack token on one here. So we're definitely going to go ahead, hit them with Zoe here, generate the star chart. We're not looking to generate card advantage necessarily in this deck, especially against you know, something like this that's trying to like get the game to go longer. So we're probably just going to keep hitting our opponent with the star chart and making it cheaper rather than playing each one out and generating value that way. In that way, we're generating tempo more so than card advantage. I think we're okay to play Lulu out here. We'll see if we can get in a big attack with her. I'm stunning my thing. Why don't I have Instagram? I don't know. I don't really see the value in it, to be honest. I could generate the snake, the challenger snake, and then potentially buff it with Lulu and trade here. I don't know if that's really worthwhile, though. Might just pass. Just follow me on Twitch. Just show up to my streams every once in a while, that's all. Mountain Sojourners coming down next turn is okay. I would have really wanted to see another supporter in hand before that happened, especially considering got these Flower Childs, and like that would mean that Lulu would level in one swing, which would be really nice.
Keep up, keep up.
I guess we'll just start playing them out.
Let's do this.
Just block.
Don't think I won't unmake you because I will.
I kind of want to proactively use Sunblessed Vigor here because we won't have enough mana. We have enough mana now to protect a bunch of our things. We won't have it next turn if I play down the Sojourner. So I think I'm going to proactively buff Zoe here because she's the most vulnerable at one defense. We're going to bank this 2 spell mana so that we can use Twin Disciplines as necessary.
I'll get us to the peak, no matter what it takes.
We're gonna do this and see if we can get these triggers going. Okay. So you start with you because then you buff you.
Just a little farther.
I think I want to do this because they, or do we buff Zoe? Kind of want to buff the big. Probably better to buff Zoe to get this big elusive threat.
Everyone okay?
Maybe this is okay.
You can't do this.
You got legs. Use them.
We're gonna make more of a point to protect. That's a deal 3. Alright, well I'm definitely protecting Lulu. The question is with what? I feel like I want to do this because if they have a second one as a follow-up, they can't then kill her this round without another powder keg. That's okay. Sorry, Lulu. Feeling like we're in an okay spot here. This might be better than this turn, just so that we have spell mana for these two.
Or played one.
Doesn't do
Who says I
too much, so I'm playing. I guess if he has Make It Rains, that kind of sucks.
1 foot in front of the other.
I'll lead the way.
Right behind you.
Probably just gonna play the super cool star chart now. And we're definitely gonna play second Mountain Sojourners out before, Unfortunately, we cannot save her with what we have in hand. So I think we just let it happen. Play this out just to see what we get. Probably just a doggo at this point.
Join us. The more hands, the better.
I'll go as far as I'm able.
Stay focused. Hold tight.
your farewells. Go!
Yep.
Vision to see what others cannot.
So if they have a if they have Leviathan as a follow-up here, we're gonna be in trouble.
All or nothing.
Wait, for what?
We definitely need to dodge Leviathan, and if we can do that, I'm guessing this is a second Twisted Fate that they have in hand that they want to play. Either that or they were testing the waters to see what we would do.
I'm always up for a round or two.
Oh, I see. Powder keg. Because of the powder keg, I think I'm supposed to deny this. We're losing too many things. So I guess I had this and this to save a bunch of things as well, but so now I think what we want to do is we want to definitely want these two to be at the front of the chain. I kind of want you to be bigger, but I don't think that's going to be an option. It's 4 or 5 still blocks here, and it's not too bad.
Keep going.
I think this is where we want to be. We'll throw in the dog too, because, yeah.
Everyone okay? They're our friends, Glow.
You barnacle! Know your place.
You're bluffing.
It's going down to 2 here. I think we would like Swain very much to die here. Maybe if I should have done the combat math and realized that without the thingy, that he would have died. That's fine.
We lean on compassion when we lose our footing.
Sure, but really, watch your footing.
That's a pretty good draw, actually.
Gotta go with the flow. Let them see me, not you.
Really? What are you streaming? Is it cards? It's not Runeterra, is it? I will follow you. Oh yes, I see several cards card streams. Well, you are now being followed by myself. Oh, what did I do? I think I screwed up my chat. I followed you and now I can't see chat. How does that work? There we go. You're still here, right? I didn't block you or anything by mistake? Okay, cool. Alright. That was a pretty good showing of the power of the Mountain Sojourners there. Is that our first game or second game? I actually don't remember. That was a pretty long first game if that's the case. I mean first game with that deck. Was that our first game with that deck or second game? Yes, please, to both of those. This is actually probably an awful matchup for our deck now that come to think of it, because you want to be blocking early and often against the Lurk deck, and our deck doesn't want to be doing that. We want to be winning games by just having better attacks than they do. And also we have the Sparkle Fly in our deck that can gain us life. So maybe I'm just supposed to mulligan, kind of aggressively looking for that card. Yeah, there she is. There she blows.
Stop eating or no more walkies!
Rats, they got the trigger. I think we pass here though. Our second attack's gonna be pretty good. Actually, I'm probably just supposed to get the Sparkle Fly going, huh? Yeah. This will gain back 1 of the 2 health we lost the last turn, and then we can actually Mentor of the Stones to buff it even more. Could also Lulu, I suppose, but I don't. I'd rather give it a permanent buff if we can. This is probably just going to end up chump blocking. If that's all he's doing, I think that's okay.
Enter, traveler, and stop staring.
I guess he has that now, that free attack unit that's going to do its thing. Oop, I guess not. I'm gonna do this. I'm throwing this egg because it's pretty much a free attack. They want to block here, and if they don't, I think it's a mistake, so. Okay, they must have another way of interacting with this. Am I supposed to block there? They could have things like Bone Skewer, which would be really bad. They could also have... Pike could also just come in and kill the damn Sparkle Fly without any, like... any problem, so maybe I'm just supposed to get this trade anyway. Well, that doesn't work the way you want it to work, my friend. Maybe they have a second Bone Skewer.
Oh yes, your future holds lots of purple. Thank you, sir.
Carrots can fly, Rib! Okay, okay!
So we're gonna play the Mountain Sojourners and looking to open attacks on our next turn. Unless they're attacking for lethal, we're not blocking. Yeah. That's unfortunate, but expected.
Join us! The more hands, the better.
I'll go as far as I'm able.
So this can block here even if they get the trigger, which is nice.
What?
Okay. The question is, do we open on attacks or do we play out more stuff? I think we want to play more stuff.
Never loses because Zoe makes the roses!
No giving up.
Lulu? Hi, I missed you! What are you doing over there? Zoe, I was just talking to Croctopus. He says hi. I missed you too. and 1 part Pix. Go Pix! Go Pix! Speedy Boo!
Got him exactly dead.
Oh yeah!
The job is reasonable. I'll say that. It's the days go by quickly. I get 3-day weekends. The pay is reasonable. Yeah. I'm pretty happy with it. Yeah, that went really well for us. Even though we didn't get quite as much value off of the Sparkle Fly as we would have hoped in a matchup like that. They also didn't get some of their big nasty draws, so I mean, the Sparkle Fly did enough, right? Like, it healed us for 4 and no, it healed us for more than that, right? It healed us for like 7 and chumped and traded with one of their threats, so it did a lot. So yeah, once again, pretty much want to see Sparkle Flies in this matchup. Maybe Twin Disciplines is actually pretty good. To help keep it alive, or even buff our life total more if we want to go around that direction. But you know what? I think we're just supposed to look for threats. I think I keep these two because we'd like to buff this or. Okay. So they get in for 1. We're likely going to be able to heal for 1. Oh, sorry. Excuse me. Of course, they're gonna get the lurk trigger. That's fine. We get in for 2. Maybe we actually save more life then in the long run by playing out this mountain goat, because it'll be able to block the fearsome or just some other threat from them. It'll generate a gem, and we can like play a bunch of stuff out to. So they missed the trigger there, which is nice. I wonder if I'm just supposed to offer this trade immediately. Probably. Generate another gem, and yeah, start going to town. I think we play, what, probably the Traveler, and then we'll look to go Young Witch Sparklefly the following turn, get a bunch of support triggers. Let's see what we draw, though. Oh, that's perfect. Now we can play two units out. It's all going according to plan. I wonder if we can avoid them having another 1 run. Easy block.
Don't think I won't unmake you, because I will.
Reaching the peak will change everything.
I guess if they play a pike here, they can strike this down. We don't have Bastion up as protection. It's gonna happen eventually anyway, right? No matter what.
Great. Is that a familiar frog? Oh my gosh. Go on, Rib.
You told me to say hello. Hello.
No time to rest.
Oh, they're our friends.
I think this is where what we want to do. I'll do this kind of as a soft pass and also makes them think twice about shipping in with the forestry. And even if they do, I mean, at least it trades, right? I think I want to just trade here. Could save our guy. I could also just skip the block.
Join us. The more hands, the better.
I'll go as far
This banks
as I'm
enough
able.
spell mana plus the one we get for the turn to be able to hold up Bastion in case they play something big and nasty that we need to stop. We're gonna go here to here to here to here, I believe. There.
Keep going.
Actually, probably want to go like this.
Just a little farther.
Yeah.
Hold tight.
So, rather you didn't do that, but I also kind of want to keep you around. I can't do both. Am I okay with Thingy dying? He's gonna move to the top of the deck, which means he needs to lurk for it to change. No, he's gonna draw it the next turn. Because I actually don't mind him leaving. That's the thing. That's why I don't think I want to play the Bastion. Oh, he was just dead. I didn't even realize that. Our opponent was probably thinking we were BMing them or something. I honestly didn't think we were that far ahead. Or we were dealing that much damage. Wow, when this deck gets going, man, the numbers that it pumps out. And again, I think in that case, if the opponent expected that to work, they should have just blocked with the other unit as a just in case. Or in fact, they could have just blocked with Thingy, right? With Pike, and then he wouldn't have died. Yep, 1, 2, 3, like this curve.
Reality is just your mind crumbling under what it doesn't understand, silly.
We'll go 2 and 3, most likely. How much do we care about Zozo? I think I kind of do.
Mystical levitation requires concentration.
Could Bone Skewer.
Celestial power.
Okay. Kind of like that.
It's got nothing on me.
I'll become who I was always meant to be.
Funny who you remember.
I will reach the peak.
Sure.
Little party gift.
So now the question is, what are we playing?
We made it, Rim! I wanna go home!
Yikes, that's a big boy.
This way! Go!
Okay.
They all sink before they float.
Is it adventure time, you guys?
Please, no.
What do you say, Glow? That's yes!
I'm gonna pass here, yeah? Could have another Bone Skewer in hand. So maybe I'm just supposed to play... Well, even if they do, what are they Bone Skewering? Probably here? Well, they could hit her, which is the big thing I don't want to happen.
Whatever the journey brings, I welcome it.
Fey Guide, pretty nice.
Today is the day we master the mountain.
I know we can reach the top if we work together.
Stay focused!
Slow down!
Everyone okay?
The Glow friends!
Might be able to punk them out with his twin disciplines, giving something +3 attack, depending on how they block.
Drown with me.
So now the question is, who am I saving? Probably the Mountain Sojourners. I'm a little scared of the Under Titans getting really big. They're still a ways off from that, huh? Okay, I think I'm supposed to save her. Could give her Spell Shield. Just kind of like proactively in case they have something. And then what we can do next turn is give her Elusive. Second Twin Discipline is pretty good. Twin Disciples, Twin Discipline, whatever. So even a Rek'Sai doesn't get them quite up to...
You guys have really got to keep your voices down.
Okay.
Ah, fuck. I was just gonna say, you know what punishes me here is that thing. We'll see how they attack, though. It's a lot of power. And actually, they can get +3 attack, right? Oh no, that's not how... I guess they would have needed another Rek'Sai on top of the deck. So I can give her exactly 7 toughness, which is not good enough for those counting at home. That's gonna go away, so I don't necessarily need the chump block there.
It's new. Sorry. Over here.
Oh, he likes you.
Do I keep her around because she gets even more powerful? Do I open on attacks or I play the Mountain Sojourners? Probably just suppose open attacks. Yep. Yep. Lulu, Zoe doing work. Definitely going to be looking to kind of curve out here. Sparkle Fly. Sometimes these decks can have a little bit of an aggressive slant, so maybe the Sparkle Fly is a good keeper. We're going to try this and see how it goes.
I bear a message from... Oh, hey, what's that?
This is kind of good because we can go Young Witch and then Lulu on our turn 3. Young Witch will give Lulu +1 in quick attack to make it tough to block her. Lulu can buff up Zoe. Should be nice.
the heart and light the way.
Tremendo!
Back, heretic.
Okay. Depending on what they do here, probably just Fey Guide on Lulu to make her elusive. Yeah, they're kind of looking for something here. They don't have enough. Well, yeah, whatever they created, they can't play for a while. So what do they have? Fey Guide actually got a small buff not too long ago as well, if I'm not mistaken. I think it got +1 toughness. So a lot of this archetype sort of seeing some incidental buffs. If there was another support card to play here, I would.
Spark and I will keep you safe.
It's Pix's job, Samo.
So this and this is a pretty big buff. This and this is a pretty big buff. Or it's just spreading out the damage a little bit more. And I think I do want to just open attacks here rather than try to play out more stuff.
Master yourself, master your enemy.
We'll start with this and see what we find.
Riddle me something?
Definitely gonna take Crescent Strike for the Lee Sin, because he's unlikely to be able to do a whole lot with him just with burst spells, so we can stun him to prevent him from going off or killing one of our big things. Hopefully. Play him out. Definitely play a help Pix on our Lulu. It's more important than Zoe at this point.
My lands need me.
Okay, now probably hooking
Prepare
Lulu.
yourself.
Really?
Center your spirit.
Yeah, unfortunately can't do anything to save her there. Oop. Fey Guide the Mountain Goat, I suppose.
You guys have really got to keep your voices down.
I said Mountain Goat and then I clicked Fey Guide. Anywho.
Breathe in, breathe out.
That is going to generate a thingy, unfortunately. Guess I could play another elusive threat. How much elusive damage do we have here? This is 1, 2, because she buffs. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I almost feel like I should play this just so that Zoe sees even more cards. Could also just play this before attacking as well. Definitely a possibility. She's getting close to leveling here.
What is gained when we return malevolence?
That's a Lulu.
war, you remain so calm.
Would Paladin help, brother?
What's in here?
What has she seen us play? What has... She hasn't seen us play the Flower Child. I'm thinking I want to replace... I think I want to just level up Zoe guaranteed. Which of these two is better?
Stop eating or no more walkies!
Where did you get that?
There's nothing a good giggle can't fix.
She's seen Lulu level up, you dope. That's fine. Probably gonna get the Crescent Strike this turn, and I think I want to have a Help Picks in hand anyway.
Strike firm.
He can't
Not
choose
all
both.
mean well.
Our enemies cannot hide.
Oh, I guess he can't do
I
that.
fight
Darn.
with the dragon's fury.
Yeah, unfortunately we didn't find any of our burst speed protection this game.
Prepare yourself.
Surprised he's not going there with that. Yeah, fine.
Trickster never loses because Zoe makes the rules.
What once was two, now is one.
That should be fine.
Hex makes perfect. Stop eating or no more walkies.
Where did you get that? What is gained when we return malevolence?
Oh, I did. This was a bit of a mistake.
Off we go.
I don't know. I'm kind of just throwing stuff at the wall, seeing what sticks here. Probably just supposed to Crescent Strike these two.
Act free of doubt.
Yeah, we probably... No guarantee we would have won this game, but I probably threw it away for sure. I'm just playing loosey-goosey. I mean, that's fine. That thing's not very big.
Portal me something cool.
Together, we can do this.
breathe out.
Peace begins within. We'll bring peace to Iona, whatever the cost.
I did see it. I already have a regular Switch though, so I'm not particularly interested in it.
Face me. Our enemies cannot hide.
So unfortunately, we won't be able to protect her. They're gonna heal for a whole bunch because Karma's leveled. Man. Probably had this game won at some point, but I screwed it up. Block here. Get the gem.
What is gained when we return malevolence?
They're probably not winning at this point with their leveled stuff. And I'm pretty sure I screwed up somewhere along the way there, so... yeah, just move on. If I thought a little bit more about the things that they could play, there was just probably a few of our attacks where I just needed to play to the board. I should have just assumed they had plenty of ways of spending their mana to stop us from winning the game. Especially that last attack that I did where they went down to 2. There's probably just a bunch of plays I could do just to... a bunch of things I could have done to play more to the board and ensure, or at least make it more likely that we would have had a lethal attack. I also screwed up at one point not thinking about all the things that Zoe potentially saw to level. I think, as good as Mountain Sojourners are, do we keep one in the opening hand? I think Sparklefly. I think we just want to find a bunch of things that support and curve out that way, but I think I'm supposed to throw back the 5-drop. Gotta hope to draw into it. I mean, in that case, this is a lot better for sure. Okay. So we'll play Young Witch and attack. And that's a pretty good attack. And then... Mountain Goat's Tiari the next couple turns, I suppose.
Go on, Rib.
You don't want me to say hello? Hello.
This is one of the reasons why the Young Witch buff to 2 toughness is so important, because now she doesn't die to make it rain. Probably just gonna see them take this hit here. Their deck doesn't have a lot of health gain though, so it could be risky. But it doesn't surprise me to see them just take that hit here. Sparklefly is pretty good. I think we'll actually play that down because it means we're just less afraid of... Actually, I'm gonna pass, I think. Bank the spell mana so I can play Twin Disciplines. We'll just play out 2 things next turn.
You pay, I talk to spirits. These are my rules.
Okay, now they don't have Death's Hand present, so I think I'm okay with just playing something out here.
One foot in front of the other.
I think we give him quick attack to give this the defense, so then everything can get in. Maybe we don't bother with the Sparklefly. Ooh, Fey Guide. Does that change anything? I might want to use that on the Mountain Sojourners anyway. Sojourners? Don't know how to pronounce that. Do you play viewer decks? I do play viewer decks, or rather, I used to play viewer decks, but it's been a while since I played. I would entertain taking a viewer submitted deck though, for sure. I don't know when I can't promise I would get around to it anytime soon because I have a pretty... There's a bunch of decks I'm playing between now and the next week, and then I am going on summer vacation for the next 3 weeks, so I probably won't get around to playing it anytime soon. So am I opening attacks here? Are we developing the board? I think we just attack. Taking too long to decide anyway. Probably keep holding this up. Play the Mountain Goat as a blocker for next turn. And we'll look to play the Mountain Sojourners. After that into hopefully a pretty big board. I think I'm in for saving the Witch. Yeah. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's a decent amount of damage. They probably have a whatchamacallit that they want to use on me.
Join us. The more hands, the better.
I'll go as far as I'm able.
A Ravenous Flock. So keep our stuff healthy. Could be not just necessarily Ravenous Flock, could be the Scorched Earth. I think we play like this and probably look to open attacks the next turn. Yep. Probably going to see Ravenous Flock on that. I think we will start our next turn by playing out the Sparkle Fly then. I want to make sure that our life total is nice and high. We could get punished, of course, if they have another Arachnoid Sentry. But then we have... a Mentor of the Stones at least to pair with this and like kind of buffer our life total a little bit more. Yeah, that's fine.
Tell me, Sage, what does my future hold?
Vision hazy. Please ask again later.
Celestial power.
I think I'll go with that actually. Well, if I do...
No time to rest.
They're our friends, Glow!
This is outrage!
If they have a Scorched Earth, they're going to use it now. If they draw into it, I don't want them to have a valid target, so we'll just do this. That's actually a lethal threat, so I'm going to Fey Guide it.
Glory, courage, excuses, O wolf.
Maybe I'm supposed to Fey Guide because of the Swain now. Maybe I'm supposed to Fey Guide here because if they have... Well, that's interesting.
We lean on compassion when we lose our footing.
Sure, but really, watch your footing. Just a little farther.
I think that's where we want to be. That's probably just this. Okay, well, I think that's going to do it for that deck. It's very fun, but I do want to get around to some of the other things that we're playing today. It's almost, well, it's 11:30 now. Play one, I'm definitely playing at least one more. Yeah, we'll end that on a high note and move on to the next thing. Yeah, I don't know. This, like, based on the few sets we played, this seemed pretty reasonable, right? Like, I think the key card in this deck that kind of holds things together is definitely the Sparklefly, right? Because there's just a lot of other decks that are kind of doing what we're doing. They're just like these curve out aggro decks that are running us down. But the key difference between those and what they're doing and what we're doing is that they tend to keep their big attack power units. Like, they have a lot of permanent buffs, whether it's the lurk or, you know, discard aggro previously or this and that. And so it makes blocking on our turn very bad. So something like Sparklefly lets us race more effectively because of the life gain that we can get, and can be a very key potent threat in those matchups. Something I didn't talk about before, this Twin Disciplines card was another card from the last patch that got buffed. So we saw, like, what? We saw the Mountain Sojourners, the Young Witch, and Twin Disciplines all get buffs in this deck. And I think that feels pretty good in a deck like this. Either protecting our key threats in the early game to keep us from... prevent us from losing, or for keeping the pressure on, but then in the late game when we're looking to close out, the fact that we can use it, like, to pivot a little bit more is great. Sunless Vigor is in the deck for the same reason, except it's nice that it's a permanent defensive buff rather than the temporary one that Twin Disciplines get. These both felt very good. Based on that set that we did, we were talking about the possibility of wanting more 1-drops so that we could do the 1-2 and then start supporting curve that I'd mentioned before. But I would play more games with this build as is before making that change, because this felt pretty good as is. The one card I would have thought to cut potentially to do what I was describing more consistently might have been the Mountain Goat, which does mean could potentially mean we're a little bit worse in against some decks if we want a blocker like this, because I don't think this is a getting in for more than one attack most games anyway. And in that case, I think the swap could potentially be Inspiring Mentor, just because 1 mana 2/1 can block fairly effectively, just like the Mountain Goat can, especially against things like Lurk. The permanent buff is nice for our various elusive threats like Zoe, Young Witch, or even just putting it on something like Lulu or something later. Fey Guide, Mountain Sojourners, it's all good, it's all nice. For the same reason, like Gift Giver's not bad in the archetype, or has been okay in the archetype previously, because she creates the gem which does the same thing, but you have to spend mana for that gem. So yes, it's healing, but you have to spend mana for it. So the fact that Inspiring Mentor kind of does the same thing, but without having to spend the mana, I think is pretty good. Anywho, yeah, you have a bunch of copies of Lulu that are collecting dust in your collection. Maybe want to pair it with your girl Zoe there. Give this deck a shot. All right, that's it for that. Let's move on to another one.